These are the 3 most difficult puzzles on chess.com. Each one has a rating of 3,953. Now, although in theory these should all be the same difficulty, I have ordered them in what I believe is the most easy to most difficult order, and therefore the final puzzle in this video is, in my opinion, the most difficult puzzle on chess.com. So let's begin with the first puzzle, which you see on your screen right now. It is white to move. Black just took on h2. What do you play in this position? Pause the video for some more time. Now, for the most difficult puzzle on chess.com, this is remarkably simple, because all you need to do here is to take notice of what is going on, which pieces are attacking which pieces. So you see this bishop, okay, it's hitting the rook on a8. You see this pawn, okay, it's hitting the rook on g1, and although black has many other pieces clustered around the position, those are your only 2 threats as of this moment. And so you notice that both of these rooks are hanging, and so you figure out, how can I save them both? And the simple way to do so is to first take on a7 with check, so they don't have the opportunity to take the other rook, and once they move, bring the other rook to safety. Now, you can't really move it anywhere along this g file because none of those squares are free for your rook, but also there's issues of promotion, so you simply slide it, tuck it to h1, and with that, the solution of the puzzle is found. I mean, they can throw in this extra check, but you sidestep with the king, and everything is good. Again, very simple solution to what should have been a very difficult puzzle. But now we're getting to the fun stuff. This one, puzzle number 2, is significantly harder in my opinion, because now you're actually on the attacking end. So you have far more choices to consider. So black to play here, how do you construct a very effective and successful attack on this king over here? Pause the video for some more time. The idea here is to play h3 check. Now the king comes to h1, and now the king is on this long diagonal, and whenever it's on that long diagonal, you want to figure out how to get a bishop, which we don't have, or a queen on to one of those squares on the diagonal. So g2 would be checkmate, but that's impossible. But what other squares could we try to get the queen on that it would hit the king along this diagonal? Well, you see there's quite a lot of mess going on these 3 squares, so you can't really get the queen anywhere there. So what you want to do is look at this f3 square, queen to f8, simple as that. We're heading towards f3 with a devastating mate to come. Their only option now is to physically stop that by playing pawn to f3, and therefore restricting the queen from coming in. I should note that alternatively they can choose to bring the knight back, a very sneaky move, because we can't actually sacrifice the rook, because in the resulting position the queen guards on f3, but what we can go is simply e5. And now we're looking to just take the knight, kick it away, and win based off of the fact that we're going to have more material. For example, if they play a random move, let's say move their rook away, we can take, they're going to take, and we can continue going rook e2. I mean, we're eventually going to crash through in the position. And so a more forcing option, the better recommended option by the engine, f3. And now in this position, we're going to take this pawn. And once again, our objective is super simple. We want to get the queen to f3. So our threat is f2 followed by queen f3. The only way to stop that is putting a rook on f2. So once again, f2 is physically not a legal move anymore. So the way that we're going to continue the attack in this position is going rook to g2. Now we're threatening to just take the rook. If they move the rook back, well, guess what? Now we can go f2, and we've managed to crash through. The queen is coming to f3, and mate will follow very shortly thereafter. And so they have to keep a piece blocking the square. So rook to f1 from e1 seems to be the only move, with the intention that after takes, we can't really crash through anymore. But what we do is now switch our attack, a very powerful idea. We no longer focus on crashing on this diagonal that is now very much blocked and hard to get access to. We switch to a newly open diagonal, which is this one from b8 to h2, and specifically d6 is a square which our queen will occupy. We're threatening mate in 1, and if they take, well, there's going to be the fork in the end, and we win these positions. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this now takes us to the most difficult puzzle on chess.com. Black to play in this position, king to g1, was a severe inaccuracy because it allows a very stunning concept. So pause the video and give this a shot. What do you play here? So the solution here is queen to g6 check. Now after the king moves to h1, the way you continue is the incredibly unnatural move, rook to c1. Now, okay, this kind of makes sense because we're threatening mate, we're attacking the bishop, but we're also allowing them to promote, and usually this is something that you need to do very carefully, especially because we're allowing them to promote with check. But guess what? We don't care, because even after they get a second queen on the board, miraculously, they can't stop this huge mating attack. There's no way for them to defend the bishop, which is threatened now with checkmate. For example, queen to d3 simply hangs the queen, and again, mate will follow. So their best move is queen to g5, giving away one of the queens to basically stop, for the time being, this attack. Now in this position, very precisely, you do not take the queen, because after you take it, well, the king now can come to the g-file, defend the bishop, and practically speaking, black is probably still better because we have still an attack coming against this weak king, but objectively, white can draw this position. So therefore, the precise way to continue is to give this check first here on e4. We force the king to come to g1, and only now do we take. The difference being, the king is not on g2, so the bishop is still pinned, there's pressure over here. But even more importantly, after the queen takes the pawn, we can now switch our attack to focus on the g-file. We go rook to c6, threatening to bring the rook over to g6, which would win the queen. So in this position, f3 is their best option. They don't really have a way to avoid this, because if they just try to like sidestep, well, this is also gonna come with mate. We go rook h6, let's say they run away, rook g6 is gonna be checkmate. So going backwards, best option is f3, but now we can continue by giving a check, sidestepping the attack, and then bringing the rook in, and again, there is just a mate coming. If they move their queen away, they give a check, we go to g8, and mate is now unstoppable. They have to give away their queen. Game over. So pretty unnatural, this move, rook to c1, just sacrificing, giving your opponent an extra queen, but in fact, it is the way that you win this position. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new around here, like this video if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.